Welcome back to She's Got Game. On this week's episode, I'm sitting down with Nike trainer Alex Hipwell. We talk about everything from life as a dancer in her early years to her transition into bodybuilding where she was pretty damn good, and then how she found community in CrossFit and functional fitness and how important that is for finding your tribe, finding your confidence and feeling good in your own body. Alex has gone on to create her own platform, Lifting Women, which is all about that community and confidence piece. And we even tap on why sports bras are so important for performance. Let me know what you think of this week's episode in the comments below, and I hope you enjoy. Alex Hipwell, welcome to She's Got Game.
Thank you. I'm really excited to be here.
Thank you so much for joining me today. Let's start at the beginning. What role did movement play in your life growing up?
It was the main role. I was privileged enough to have the opportunity to do like a variety of different sports throughout, starting very, very young, actually. Swimming was kind of like the main sport that drove me. But then I was doing track and field. Surf life saving was a huge part of my childhood. I played competitive tennis. I did gymnastics. So every afternoon I had something different. And then as I got to kind of the age of 12, 13, my parents asked my brother and I to kind of choose what sport we wanted to do and therefore go a little bit more in that direction and then pull back on the other so we could focus on it. And I was doing really, really well with swimming, competing at like the highest level you could compete. But I think I was burnt out if I look back now. And gymnastics was just, it was great. Surf life saving was incredible and it was very family orientated as well. But I started dancing because one of my friends had started dancing and I was really bad. But oh my God, I loved it. I used to go on Tuesday afternoons and I just loved it. Like I was such a little show off. I always wanted to be the center of attention. And for some reason I was just thriving in this class, but I was always in the back row because I was really bad and I couldn't remember anything. And then as I got a little bit older, like around, I think it was 15, I really wanted to do this professionally. And my mum was like, you're not very good at it. Like, what are you going to do? And I just found a really good teacher and went all in and became very, very successful doing it, and then got scholarships and studied and ended up using that to bring me overseas and have an incredible 15-year career as a dancer.
Wow, 15 years. That's insane. What was it that pushed you through those moments when everyone else perhaps was telling you weren't good or you didn't feel as though you were as good as the others? What made you want to continue with dance?
How I felt when I was on the stage. How I felt when I moved. The moment the music came on, nothing else matters. You feel this like, I don't think there are words for it, and that's why it's a movement. Because you express whatever you are going through. You don't wear a mask ever when you dance. And you could do the same piece that is when you're angry as when you are heartbroken or when you're happy, and it will come across differently, but you have this base to express and your body is kind of like the words, and only a dancer really knows what that's like. Yeah.
How did that compare in terms of how the other sports made you feel?
It's very similar. Very, very similar. I think what's beautiful about a dancer is you become very in tune with your body, right? And you're very affectionate with other dancers. So you dance as a team or like as with partners and so forth. And that connects you to your body. So when you when I started training, I had a very, very close connection with my body, and again, use training as a form of expression, especially kind of the stages that I went through to where I am today as an athlete. I think I changed as an athlete having dancing as the main movement after my childhood, because as a child, it was just be the best. It was, I was there to compete. I was there to win and to be better. I didn't do sport for fun as a child growing up. When I really look back on it, I didn't go there to have fun. It was every single discipline I did had a competition involved throughout the year of everything. I never did a hobby, and dancing was the hobby, right? So I think that, I don't know, then I, throughout my career as a professional dancer, or even before that, and then moving into the fitness industry, I'm a different athlete. I have a different connection to movement.
Would you say that you now still have that competitive fire in you, but when you go and train now with more CrossFit and functional fitness, does it still feel like a competition and like it's not fun, or has your mindset shifted around that through dance?
Great question. There are days that it's not fun for me, but I know what I'll feel like if I didn't go. You know, and saying that in a very healthy way. It's not like I'm tired or I need recovery and I'm pushing through. Not at all. But I just don't really want to go. I couldn't be bothered. I'd rather sit there with a coffee in my hand, but I know how I will feel if I choose that direction, because I've done it too many times. I haven't shown up enough times to not want to do that. You know, it's kind of like when you quit something, you maybe quit twice, because no one remembers anything from anyone who quits or pulls out. But I think with training, I do need a performance driver. It's who I am. Whether that's an external validation, like an external driver, or me personally. I need something. That future self needs to be crystal clear and have clarity around, why am I doing this? And I think you and I spoke of that earlier today, that there was 6 months where I was just kind of showing up. And I love that someone could say, do you want to join a High Rocks with me? Or do you want to do this? Yeah, I can put myself in there. I can go and compete in probably a lot of different sports. And I love that at my age that I'm still able to do that. But I also want something that makes me really uncomfortable. And that's kind of where I'm at right now for the next 6 months. And on one side, I hate it and I question it every day. And on the other side, it just like sets my soul on fire.
And you said with swimming, looking back, you feel like you were burnt out. Did you ever reach that point with dancing?
Oh, wow. No. The interesting thing with dancing is, and it's going to sound crazy, I did not dance for about 12 or 13 years after I stopped.
Wow.
Yeah. And I remember the last time I stepped on stage as a dancer, and I had my son, and I think he was about 6 months old, maybe 7 months old. And I just didn't belong there anymore. My body was different. Everything was different. I had boobs. I had more body fat on my body. That experience in itself has a lot to do with what I do today with coaching and, you know, younger girls. But I actually turned into a healthy female, I think. And I didn't know how to move with that body. And I didn't give myself space to relearn how to move with that new body. Yeah. I didn't like her. I didn't feel good. So I stepped off stage as a dancer and stepped on as a choreographer. And that's where I started to choreograph shows instead, which was great.
How would you say your relationship with your body was during your time as a professional dancer prior to having your son?
There wasn't a relationship. You can't. It was so toxic. I had a mirror that I would take with me to see what I looked like from behind.
Wow.
You know, and because I had this natural little peachy booty, which I never wanted. You know, I wanted nothing. I just wanted to disappear. And how I got there, it didn't matter how I got there. It did not matter how those numbers went down or the dress size was smaller. I did whatever it took. So that abuse is, I think, this toxic. It's like the thought of what I did to get where I thought I wanted to be, and you never get there. You never ever get there. It's the same as in a healthy way. When you finally get when women say to me, I want a 6-pack, and I was like, you won't want it when you get there. You'll be so hungry, or you'll be this, or, you know, it depends what type of 6-pack, sure, but It was the same as a dancer. That 15 years professionally, and I remember the day where everything really started, and I was in a pink ballet leotard, and it felt like I got boobs overnight. I didn't have my period, but I got boobs overnight. And I remember looking in the mirror, and it was the day that I stopped eating.
Wow.
And it's so vivid in my mind. And it was so fine. I saw my body and I was like, okay. And that was it. Plates got smaller. Everything changed. Yeah.
At what moment did you realise you wanted to change that?
When I stepped off stage as a dancer, I always admired these fitness athletes, the female fitness athletes on the cover of Oxygen magazine. Remember that? RX, back in the day, showing my age now. And there were two women who I just adored. And that was Nicole Wilkins, who became my coach, and Erin Stern. And the two of them would swap. They were also first and second on every bodybuilding stage. And I was like, I wonder if I can do that. And now that I'm not dancing anymore, I can put on some weight, not knowing that I was stepping into another extremely unhealthy, toxic world, right? I just thought these girls were fitness, they must be healthy, they must be all of this. So I'd started studying fitness and nutrition, and actually found this love that I never thought I would have this same feeling as I did with dancing. I was like, oh my God, I was so passionate about learning about the body and anatomy. And I was like, the driver behind that was why I was always injured. I was like, I want to know why I'm always injured. So I studied. I mean, you look back then, there was no research done on women. So God forbid what I actually learned. It was just crap. But now, we're in a good space. So when I saw those women, I was like, okay, maybe I can design my body like that with food. So off I went. I stopped breastfeeding, forced to stop breastfeeding from postnatal depression. But that enabled me then to really start to train heavier and, start working out in the gym, eating food and stuff, but very, very controlled. And I did it. I started to design my body and change it all up. And that was kind of weird. Yeah.
I like that term, design your body, but at what point do you feel like it went from being fun to being another unhealthy relationship?
Because I wanted to compete. It wasn't just to go to the gym and build your body, design your body. It was like, I want to compete. I can do this. I can win. So I searched for a coach. Until somebody, because everyone said, you're too skinny, you're too skinny, you're too skinny. You need to take drugs, you need to do this. And I was like, no. And I walked into this really crazy gym that was old school. And there was one coach in there, or one trainer, and he's like, I'll coach you. And he's like, but you got to start eating. I was like, I can do this. And it was literally that part there was quite unhealthy as well. I would step on the scale. Every second day I had to step on the scale. Yeah. And I would cry because it was just going up and up and up. So then I created a vision board and stuck it in front of the scale. So when I stepped on the scale, all I saw was my favorite girls on the bodybuilding stage. And I was like, that's where you have to get to. And you got to put on weight, and you got to put on weight. So then I would look down. I was like, I think I got to 12 kilos. So now 12 kilos heavier than what I was. But I was chunky, because it was just eating and lifting weights and building muscle. But I hated myself. I could not look at myself naked in the mirror. Could not at all. How I talked to myself and all of this was very unhealthy, really unhealthy when I look back at it. But I had this driving force that you're going to compete and you're going to be able to lose all of this weight soon, and then you'll be shredded like them, and you kind of talk yourself into this toxic way. And you think it's fitness and it's healthy, and it's just not from a dancer, not from an eating disorder dancer to another controlled environment where you are training on your own, you are always on your own, and you were just in your head the whole time, thinking, oh, but I'm going to compete in the German championships, and then I'm going to go to Arnold Classic, and and then you win, right? My career was great. I got first and second in every competition I did, all the way to the international stage. But behind the scenes was awful. I mean, I didn't I didn't vomit anymore like I did as a dancer, because I know I needed the calories. But my God, like the self-destruction that was involved there was just devastating. Like 5 years of just...
5 years.
Yeah.
What advice would you have for people? Because there may be some people listening who have been advised to gain weight or have decided they want to gain weight, but they want to do it in a healthy way. Mm-hmm. How would you advise them going about that? Because it is hard.
Yeah, it really is. Like every year I do like a surplus from my body, right? Because getting older too, it's really hard to kind of to get lean tissue and to kind of like hold on to it. So the thing that was missing, and this is what I do a lot in my coaching, is if your goal is to put on that lean mass and okay, then you need that mental preparation. There needs to be no surprises along the way. So I use my journey a lot. I get the vision board in front of the scale. We talk a lot about it. I know that there needs to be more check-ins, for example. If you don't have a coach, have that vision board. It's really powerful. So you're constantly looking at your future self and what she needs to do to get there. And it's going to be uncomfortable, and you can put that on there as well. And this is how you might feel, but document it with yourself. Just be kind to yourself and understand that for some reason because you'll never put on that much weight when you are like in that zone. But for some reason we are still today in 2025 moving to disappear. So that is somewhere in your subconscious as a female who moves, right? Or who goes to the gym. We train to disappear. We train to lose weight. We train to be thin. We had a pizza, we're going to run in the morning. Even if you're like, I'm not, I have that. And I know somewhere in your head it's there too, right? And knowing that your mind is something you're going to have a plan for as well. Not just the training and the nutrition and the sleep and so forth, but the mental performance, the visualization that you do, maybe some free writing. What do I really want? Why am I on this journey? What are my limiting beliefs around believing in myself? I don't know, stuff like that. So the women who I work with who are in that kind of direction or are doing this, that reminder of we can stop at any moment. This is not black and white. We can do a small cut. We can put you down into a little deficit. So you're like, oh, okay, I'm okay. This is just food. I'm eating great foods. I'm honoring my body. I'm doing everything right. It aligns with my goals, but I don't have to do this like black and white all the time. So I think there's those points from my point of view, like that seems to work really well. But again, everyone's journey is unique, has a lot to do with your history. Where are you coming from? What have you experienced, and have you healed that before? Yeah.
I think that's the hard bit, isn't it? Because sometimes you do the physical element of quote unquote getting well before the mental, or in conjunction with. Yeah. And sometimes there's not quite enough mental prep beforehand. I went through a really similar experience, and I really remember this one time hugging my knees to the chest and lying down on the floor and crying my eyes out and being like to Mum, I can feel my spine so clearly and I hate myself for it, but I'm also petrified of gaining weight. Like I could just feel all of my skeleton basically.
Yeah.
And having that support system is so important. I think what you said there, the word that came to mind in my head was safe. Everything you were saying would make me feel safe doing that. And I just think that's so important.
Yeah.
But back to bodybuilding.
Yeah.
What did it teach you about discipline and control, the good, the bad, and the ugly?
Oh, I mean, I had like maybe a negative kind of umbrella over it. It was awesome. Like, I wish that I actually held on to I documented it on social media, but I never saved anything. And I called myself Burnt Barbie, like the whole way through, right? 4 a.m. walking down hallways of hotels, eating fish and rice online, people following, just going, oh my God, what are you doing? It was amazing. What it taught me was there was a lot of things that I said I wanted to do and I never finished. And this was something that I had to go all the way to the end. I said I was going to do this, so you got to do it. And there were days where I tell you, like 5 a.m., fasted Stairmaster for an hour. God, Father, who does that anymore? I don't know.
My face for people who didn't just see.
Oh, wow. Like, back in the day, bodybuilders, that's what you do, is fasted cardio, right? And I was shocked at myself. I was shocked at how disciplined I was when it came to food, to the gram. Like I was sitting there, you know, I remember I was choreographing a show at a huge theatre in the Friedrichstadtpalast, actually in Berlin, sitting outside eating like cold salmon and rice and just like washing it down with water because I just was gagging. But it wasn't food anymore. I would sit there and when I couldn't eat it, I was like, I would see myself on stage. Like I saw her. I rehearsed what I was going to do when they called my number out when I won. Like that's how clear it was, the work I was putting in. I was like, I am going to win this and this is what's going to happen. So the food I became a robot.
Yeah.
So, but this is like, I don't know, like when I look back on it, you got to try it. If you're that kind of person and you know, you have a good coach, you know, I had a great coach. I had 2 different coaches and they were just phenomenal. So I had this great team around me. But in saying that, I don't know, like it's great. I wouldn't change it for the world. It's a part of who I am as a coach today. I learned so much about myself, the discipline, the commitment, doing what I said I was going to do, and going as far as I could, you know, until that kind of flip that happened. Yeah.
What did it teach you about self-worth? Because on one side of the coin, you've got that negative relationship with your body and food. But on the other side, it's when I put my mind to something, I can really do it. And not everyone can do that.
Yeah.
On reflection, how do you think that impacted your self-worth at the time?
There was a lot of noise in my private life during this time. And I think I was doing it for a lot of the wrong reasons. Because bodybuilding was for me about strength. And it wasn't until later on that I realized I was searching for inner strength. And I was building this body to be strong because I couldn't speak my truth. I didn't know how to verbalize the pain that I was going through, and the escape that I was searching for. So I was searching for this strength, and bodybuilding gave me that aesthetically and carried me through. I think I survived what I needed to survive by bodybuilding, because it ended so abruptly when everything around me also kind of ended. So I kind of can only answer it in that way.
Yeah. And when it did end, how long did it take you to find CrossFit and functional fitness?
CrossFit was part of my preparation for World Championships.
Oh, wow.
Because when I did Arnold's, I won the Arnold's, but I needed a fuller back if I wanted to go to World Championships. So I needed the thicker muscle. And to do that, you either like juice up, or there were these CrossFit athletes and they were big. And I was like, okay, maybe if I do what they're doing, like 2 or 3 times a week, and include that in my training, it might help change my body, you know. So I joined this CrossFit box, and I wasn't allowed to do any snatching or overhead work because that was going to build my my core out, and I needed that V taper, right? So I was banned from doing snatching and overhead squats, and joined this CrossFit box and started lifting heavy weights. Like, you never go in as a bodybuilder and do like a 1 RM deadlift or a back squat or, you know, and then all of this high volume. You just don't do that. It's more, you know, building and designing. So I started to see changes very, very fast. And what I also saw was this community and this competitive, like, I was so unfit. Like, they were smashing me and it was just killing my soul. And then I met all these amazing people, and from this like lonely sport of, you know, bodybuilding to this incredible community of like, let's hang out, let's do team WODs, let's, you know, train together, let's, I don't know, hang out together. So I had that like 2 or 3 times a week, and then I had my bodybuilding. And then as I was leading up to the World Championships, I pulled back from CrossFit. And I just remember walking at the World Championships I had my German tracksuit on. I was so proud with the national team. And everyone was standing out the front smoking cigarettes. And I thought, what am I doing here?
Wow.
And I knew that was my last competition then. I was like, I cannot wait to go back and be competitive, actually. Yeah. I wonder how good I can be in CrossFit. Like, that was literally like the driver. So, that was like December or November 2018. And I think straight away I went back with like fake tan on and
I love that.
Yeah, went all in.
Back in Burnt Barbie is in the building,
Burnt
guys.
Barbie's in the building. Yeah.
Why do you think community and connection is such a powerful part of training these days?
I mean, connection's one of my top 3 values. I think the impact that we have on each other is a big part of it. And sometimes it's easier to show up for other people than it is for yourself. And I think when you find that you say, I'm coming to class on Wednesday, and you wake up and you just don't feel good, but you told that person you were coming and they're going to be there too, that plays a role. And that's connection in itself. I think being in an environment where you can push each other to be better, that you see other people that you admire or inspire you, I mean, connection just plays such a big role in all aspects of my life. And I just love bringing people together. I love being a part of a community. I love building communities. And I don't know. I wouldn't know. It's more of a feeling, I guess.
Yeah, I just think it's everything as well, in and out of sport.
Yeah.
But particularly if you've come from, you said with dancing, actually, you have that quite close connection with your partners. But at times it sounds like it was quite lonely. And then same with bodybuilding. I think anything is lonely when you're in your own head about yourself,
Absolutely.
isn't it? But how did shifting that focus from aesthetics to performance change your relationship with your body?
So when I moved into CrossFit, it was CrossFit actually. So when I finished bodybuilding and moved to CrossFit, I was like, right, how do I be better? How am I not the last one doing the freaking burpees and they're already running up the stairs? Like, I was just dying, right? I was like, okay, I need more food. There were no mirrors in the building. I couldn't see myself, but I knew I needed food to beat them, right? So I started to fuel my performance rather than my aesthetic appeal. So every time I was in the gym as a bodybuilder, of course, I was like looking at myself, like criticizing, like boom, boom, if I got a pump, what did I just eat? What reacted to my body? It was just all about this aesthetic drive of what I just ate. What do I need to eat to look a particular way? Whereas when I was doing CrossFit, it was like, what do I need to eat to be stronger? What do I need to eat to be faster? What do I need to eat to recover better? And without seeing myself, within 3 or 4 months, my body became, I mean, I had a great base, right? But still, my body became this like, I looked at I loved how I looked and how I performed. And I was fit and I was strong. And I was really started to honor my body with what was on that plate. And I was like, oh yeah, like if I've got something tomorrow morning, I've got to make sure that I eat enough now and eat after training and, really start to understand a little bit more that I was fueling for my performance. And my body became this gorgeous byproduct, not just seasonal throughout the year, but all year round. And so my relationship to how I looked in the mirror started to change. And so this gorgeous circle was created and I was just like, wow, like this is, and that's where all my coaching started, I think, for women as well. Was that kind of like my own journey of that shift from fueling for performance rather than aesthetic appeal.
How can other women make that shift?
Find out what really matters. Why am I here? And I think when a woman comes in and they're like, I want to lose weight, like these are like this surface things that we know, right? I want to lose weight or I want to look a particular way. Why? Because I'm just not happy in how I feel. But why are you not happy in how you feel? I don't know. When I put my clothes on, I just feel uncomfortable. If I'm sitting down, I feel, okay, but why? And they're like, it gets really annoying if you ask this question over and over again. And I always use this example of one client of mine who I had for years. And I was like, but why? She's like, what do you mean? Why? I'm sick of it. I was like, you're sick of yourself. And I said, when was the moment When was that moment where you said, I'm calling Alex? And then she sat there and she was like, I want to have sex with the lights on. And I went, confidence. So your driving force is not weight loss, which will disappear. It's just what we know. It's what we've been told. It's what we see everywhere. Her driving force is confidence. I said, every time you don't want to show up for yourself, every time that you don't want to cook a home-cooked meal or double up from, you know, dinner for lunch the next day or whatever it is, or you want to skip a meal, remind yourself how you want to feel naked with the lights on.
I love that.
You know? And I think reminding women that we move to be strong with the byproduct. Like, it's crap if anyone says, don't think about how you're going to look. That's crap. I don't want to work with you. I train my butt off to look a particular way, right? But that's the byproduct of it. Like, I want to be strong. I want to be healthy. I want to have good bones. I want to have lean mass. I sure want to look good, but it's not the driving force of why I'm moving. And I think if we can start to find a way to verbalize that when you're talking with someone and get them to understand why they're showing up. Why am I going to the gym? Why do I go for a run now? And have I fueled correctly? And look how good I feel when I do that. So getting that, what you said before, safe, same thing. When you start to feel safe in your body, safe with your thoughts, and again, not just focusing on fitness and nutrition, but diving into sleep, mental performance, and getting her to start to understand her unique kind of hormone profile as well, plays like it's just an ecosystem. It's not just two things.
What do you think the industry has historically overlooked when it comes to supporting women in fitness?
Hormones. I mean, that's a massive thing. Mental performance, mental fitness as well, and sleep.
If there are just 3 things that women listening to this can take away who may have never learned anything about their hormones, what 3 things would you love for women to know that they could implement almost today to start getting them to be a bit more in tune with what is going on hormonally?
Yeah. Track your cycle. I don't care where you are. If you're someone who is in perimenopause and you're having like not a regular cycle, still track it and track the symptoms that go with it. So when I say track your cycle, I don't mean the day that you bleed. I mean every symptom that you're noticing, every PMS symptom. Do not downplay one single thing. Don't say, I only have brain fog for 2 days or I only have cramps for 1 day. Everything matters. It's your unique hormone profile. So track your cycle as long as you can to empower yourself to go into any doctor and say, I'm noticing this. This is impacting my life in a negative way. Can you please support me? And hope that they ask you, how's your fitness and how's your nutrition? Yeah, which they probably won't because they won't. But you can empower yourself by tracking your cycle, incorporate resistance training forever. Yeah. And that means relatively heavy for you. Not Pilates, that's your soul food. Your bread and butter is resistance training. And if you're unsure how to do it, get a coach. And then I want to say nutrition because it plays, let's say fitness and nutrition together, and your sleep. So track your cycle, fitness and nutrition need to become staples. That you would like, not just fitness and nutrition for change, fitness and nutrition as if you had someone's body that you love the most other than yourself for a year and you have to give it back in 1 year. How would you treat that body? I want you to treat your body like that as a woman because we don't, right? And then the sleep part is massive. It's massive. So if you're waking up, use it as a tracker. If something's not right, it's your body telling you, you know, something's going on with your hormones. So let's work it out. Yeah.
And talking about sleep then, what would be an ideal sleep scenario for someone to go, cool, it seems like my hormones are in a good place right now. What would their sleep be looking like?
Yeah. I mean, when you say hormones are in a good place right now, so we are always hormonal. We can't forget that as a woman, right? Doesn't matter what phase of your life you're in, whether you are, you are always hormonal. So your sleep is going to change across your entire cycle, across your life, again, depending on which phase you're in. But sleep hygiene is key. And I think none of us do it properly. None of us, like very small percentage. So that whole hour before you go to bed, like when I talk about sleep hygiene, it's like, okay, look at how, if you have a child or you know someone who has a baby, the sleep hygiene around that is golden, right? So I remember my son, it was on the clock, right? Like, I think it was, I want to say like 5:30 was bath, right? And then in nice clothes. Then it was like breastfeeding or food. And then it was change the nappy so it's nice and dry. Dim the lights in the room, right? Turn the screens, turn the TVs off. Read a book. Put the baby down. Dark room. Why don't we do that for Elsa? I mean, this is gorgeous. You know, the sleep hygiene you have for a small child, and then you like tiptoe out because you're just like, please sleep, please sleep. No, but really, that is such a beautiful thing. And when you do that for yourself, you know, little things like you make all this like nice sleep hygiene happening, and then you go in to brush your teeth and you turn the lights on and you're like, cool, let's like brush our teeth. You know, think of that in itself, like great sleep hygiene. That was just, you just ruined it all with these bright lights. Little things like put like some nice lights in your bathroom. Try it. This is gorgeous. Like you can have like these kind of little lamps that you put into the, I want to say in German, Steckdose, the PowerPoint, and turn those on before you go and brush your teeth. Turn your screens off. Have some nice music playing, have some candles on or whatever. And when you go to bed, don't doom scroll. You're an adult. Put your phone away. And if you don't, then don't complain. So I think that, and then looking at that, you need, I think 7 hours and 30 minutes is what we actually need. So how long does it take you to fall asleep? If you need to wake up at a particular time, count back, I think they say 20 to 30 minutes so that when you do go to bed, you know, that you have that time to fall asleep and you're getting that kind of good rhythm. And also don't go to bed too late. Just because you get 7 hours, you go to bed after 11 p.m., I think you even lose like growth hormone, right? So I think going to bed at a reasonable time every night is really important. And don't say you're a night owl or anything. You're only a night owl because you go to bed so late. So trust me, when you have a kid, your whole system changes. Yeah. And then all of a sudden you're doing it for someone else. So just do it for yourself.
Tell us about Lifting Women. What inspired you to create it?
Wow, Lifting Women. All right, I'll tell you the story. I had a female retreat company called Shishi. And that was taken from me. Let's just put it that way. And the moment I found out that someone had stolen that from me, I fell to the floor on my knees and I shook and couldn't stop crying because that was built from a place of pain. And my purpose, I think is from my pain in a beautiful way. And when I built that, I remember where I was standing and I said to myself, I never want another woman to feel or experience what I just experienced and not know where to go and not be able to find your own strength. So what can I do with my platform to build something or create something that enables these women to come and I can remind them how great they are. I can remind them of their worth through fitness and nutrition and community. So those retreats were built and they were phenomenal. Like I love them, you know, and my time was up. However it ended. And I'm grateful, you know, because Lifting Women was built and I was sitting on the floor and I remember standing up and like a little kid, I had my fists and I stamped my foot. I'm not kidding. And I remember saying, no, women don't stab each other in the back. They lift each other up. And it was like a phoenix in that. Like I really remember this moment. I was like, women lift each other up. And that's where Lifting Women was born. I just changed rebranded. And I was like, okay, I can do this on my own. This is what I'm going to do. So the retreat started again with that. And then COVID hit and the online coaching platform was built. I dived into studying with Dr. Stacey Sims and a couple of other incredible researchers. And the research on women at that time was only 4%. So everything I had studied was just like gone out the door. And I just fell into this rabbit hole that I continued to dig and be a part of. And then I use all of these amazing women online as my guinea pigs, actually. So I feel like I've got this pool of data where I continue to learn from them. They learn from me. And I just, I sit back a bit like a mama duck at the moment and watch this community thrive. They kind of run themselves now. It's just beautiful. That's kind of where we're at.
Yeah, so cool.
Yeah.
With your experience with all of your coaching, what would you say are the things that women underestimate the most when it comes to their own strength?
Oh, I think their belief in themselves, their belief in who they could be, who they dare to be. Their belief in who they dare to be. Yeah.
Why do you think that holds them back so much?
They're just so scared that it's going to hurt. And I'm not talking physical pain. I'm talking about people you lose along the way as you create yourself. I think women are very, very scared of success, whatever that looks like to themselves. They're scared of being seen because they can't even see themselves. So how are they supposed to hold themselves when other people see them? And that's a different light. You know, it's like you're going to change. So are you ready for it? What comes with change? That immunity of change is so constricting and suffocating, yet we're going to sit in that discomfort because it's familiar. And yeah, they're so scared to be seen. Yeah.
We touched on mindset earlier when we were talking about what the industry needs to do better. How important is mindset and affirmations in your own training and coaching?
Oh, it is. It is. You sync to your training, sure. But that moment where it gets tough, your mind comes in, not your body. Your mind is like designed to not help you or let you achieve a goal. It's designed to do what you did yesterday. It's designed like what we just talked about, right? I want to stay safe. Let's just go and do what we did yesterday. Why on earth do you want to do that? I don't know what's there. I don't know what's on the other side. And what if it's hard? And what if I get hurt? And what if I fail? What if I don't make it? So let's just go and do what we did. So the amount that people still underestimate the power of the mind, and then all of a sudden try and have an affirmation when you need it the most, that would be me saying, you're going to do a marathon, I'm going to get you to do a marathon. You are not going to train for it. You're not training for it. I'm going to sign you up and you'll be fine because you can run. No. You have to train your mind. You have to train your mind in your training. So your like before and after, what happens with my athletes before and after, leading up to races, they have visualizations that are designed for them. They give me keywords and key things and what they're thinking of and colors and so forth. 3 keys to keep it simple. And they're things that you actually already say, but you need to say them in training. You need to override already in training because you fall to your training. And your training involves your mental performance and your mental fitness. And if you do not have that down, like some of the top athletes, and no one ever talks about it, things like there's some baseball players that have the most beautiful 3 keys. And you watch them, they tap their bat, they stamp their foot. You'll see most of my athletes as well have like a choreography. Stamp 1 foot. That's all body language. That's connected to your nervous system. So that's telling you, like I'll jump before like a heavy clean, for example, because that's reminding my central nervous system what I'm about to do. Slap your legs, tap your chest. You see hit something. You'll see most athletes have something that they do, clap their hands. And if you practice that and practice that and practice that, and it will get you back to where you are. See the bar, feel the bar, hear the bar, see the bar. If you get lost in something and then I get them to zone in, when the noise is really loud, or you fail a lift and you've got 7 seconds left on the clock. You step back, you look at the bar, see the bar, feel the bar, go, and nothing else matters because the body comes back in. Your mind will get you to lift that. You'll visualize yourself lifting that before your body can do it.
You're giving me goosebumps.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's there and we still don't do it. And I have so many conversations with other mental performance coaches, and there's not a lot out there, not good ones. And, you know, they have pushback. They have so much pushback. And you see athletes. I mean, that's where I had my first mental performance coach when I was 8, because I don't remember anything when I go on stage. And my mother was so frustrated with me that she would pay all of this money for my coaching as dancing, and I wanted to be a dancer, that I would stand on the middle of the stage and the music would start and I wouldn't move. And then all of a sudden I would start improvising my own choreography, and my dance coach would look at my mum and be like, every time. She spent so much money on my costumes and everything. She ended up getting me a mental performance coach, a visualization coach. So then before I competed, I would stand in front of the black curtain and I had a ritual. And I had colors and numbers, and I had my own visualization that I had to do before every time I went on stage. And after that point, I never forgot anything and I won everything.
That's insane.
Yeah.
At 8 years old
At
to
8.
have gained that is amazing.
Yeah.
How do you train women differently to men, if at all? You scrapped that last bit.
Yeah. Can we reframe that question, girl? Okay. How do we do that? Every single woman has a unique hormone profile. Every single one. So we just don't have enough data right now to be doing anything like we do with men. So we need to understand that every woman who comes to you is going to have to move the puzzle at some point across their cycle. Not that the body's capable of performing on any given day. That's proven through science. But you're going to have women who are impacted by their PMS, for example, and they're going to wake up one day and just be like, oh my God, I feel like I got hit by a bus. So the decision there is for me to open up a space for them, educate them enough on what is actually happening in their bodies to feel like this. So rather than going, what is wrong with me? Why am I not motivated? Why am I lazy? Why am I this? I felt great yesterday, and then just go for a run anyway and push against their body and feel like absolute crap and probably not even finish the run. Then they feel like they failed, not fuel maybe correctly because they felt maybe a bit bloated. So they're running fasted again. So heart rate's really high. So there's all these kind of negative things around it, and then you beat yourself up. Then you need 2 days recovery because you just feel so exhausted and your sleep is off because your cortisol is up. I sit there and I create this space where I educate them. This is what's happening. This is what you could feel if you do and you're not competing. Give yourself permission to take that day off and come in 2 days where you're going to probably really enjoy the session more and feel so much better, because a lot of the time it's just 1 or 2 days. But really give yourself that space to feel better, and maybe focus on your nutrition and your sleep more on that day. And then when they trust me on that and they do that and they move that around, they come back in and they're like, oh my God. So you kind of build a bit of trust with yourself. So I just give them the space and the tools to understand that this is what's happening. You're a woman. You're not a man. And this might not be your most powerful day. So let's take note of this day for next time and see what happens. But what if I have to compete on that day? Or what if I've got a presentation at work? Or what am I, I'm just not going to go? No. But if we know consistently over time, because you've been tracking your cycle and letting me know that day 18 is just like crappy for you all the time, or day 18 to 20, we can come at that day with some lifestyle changes. We can lower the load of training leading up to that point. We can increase, make sure that you're not in a calorie deficit, for example, making sure you've got enough fuel, and maybe really focus on the sleep the day before and hydration. And just know mentally, again, to mental performance, I'm fine. I might feel flatter than I normally do, but actually I'm okay and it's going to pass. I'll be fine tomorrow.
Something else you've been amazing with helping educate not only women, but men and just everyone about is the impact of sports bras on performance. Why are they such powerful performance tools and not just a piece of clothing?
Oh, we love a good sports bra and we don't talk about it. So there is enough research out there and the research is gorgeous. So if you like reading papers that are published, please go and read these. When you put like, how do I answer this question? We put so much emphasis from the male-dominated world of fitness on the right running shoe, okay? And this kind of like Swift and light and carbon plate or whatever's right for that particular race, still today. And it's, honestly, I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed for the brands that the boutique brands are louder than you. I'm embarrassed for you because it's ridiculous that we are not putting more and more and more. Because I know there are brands out there going, but we are, and we do have no, your shoe is still better than the bra. And if I had to choose between a bra and a shoe, as a woman, I'm going to go with the bra. If I want to perform better, I'm not going with your shoe. I'm going with the bra because it's proven for a woman, I'm talking about a woman here, not the male shoe that you give us. We're talking about the bra for women. It is proven that you will run faster if you have the right high support bra on than if you did not. Why? Because your stride is shortened if you don't have support, so your boobs are moving more. Your stride is shortened, right? Your body hunches forward more, so your hips aren't driving, and your arms will cross to protect. So there's these key factors that impact performance. Impact performance. Make you slower. Yet still in high rocks, in marathons, in half marathons, we are focused on the shoe to make her faster. Yeah, it makes him faster, but it doesn't make her faster. Like, I don't know how, I've been screaming this for 3 or 4 years. 3 or 4 years. And I know there are women out there with really big boobs, and it is very, very difficult for them. And I really feel for you. I feel for them, you know, the wearing the 2 bras, the strapping it in, all of this kind of stuff and finding the right one. I understand how difficult that must be. And I just give you so much love and energy to just keep going and don't give up. And there's some great brands out there for you. But the big brands, come on, like join me. Let's do this. I want to see an athlete cross the line or whatever it is on a finish line, and we zone in and highlight the bra instead of the picture of look at all this particular brand's shoes before the Berlin Marathon. Can we bring the camera up and start look at these bras? You know what I mean? Like, I want that to happen. And if it happens, I'll be so happy.
I feel like if no one else does a campaign, you need to do it.
Oh,
because it's
please.
I'm so on the same page as you with this. For women who, when they're going to buy a sports bra, what should they be looking out for? Let's talk high support, because I'm imagining that's where it has most impact on performance rather than medium or low.
Yeah. I think for any woman, any girl, teen, anything, if you're going to compete, like I'm all for a skimpy little sexy bra. You know, I'm all for it with a pretty back when you're training and all this kind of stuff. Like, don't get me wrong, I love it. But when you're about to perform, what does your performance kit look like? Okay. And let's talk about high support bra. Go in and try them on. Don't order online. Go in and try the bra on. You'll find that most stores will have somebody who is, you know, somehow educated somehow. If they're not, I'm sorry. So what you want to look for is when you put your sports bra on, you want to be able to put 2 fingers under the band that goes under your breast, and you should be able to pull it out to the side. Yet we think, okay, the tighter the better. No. I used to wear like a small. Now I'm like medium and large. So you have to be able to pull the bands out with 2 fingers easily. In between your boobs on the bottom of your sternum there, it should be touching. It has to really touch under there. If it's too small, it's going to sit out. Okay, we don't want to have that. If you've got the wire in the bra, make sure that it really fits your entire breast cup. We don't want it cupping and like pinching in on the side of the bra there, on the side of the boob, sorry, or having any of that side boob action happening. Okay, so we really want to make sure that the cup fits your entire boob. On the straps on the neck, also too. You shouldn't be taking your bra off and having another bra underneath that you can see, which a lot of us have had that because we're like, the tighter the better. No, we don't want to have that. We want to make sure that it's, you can lift that strap up. And then on the back, you want to go for a T. If you can get the like a normal bra strap where you can tighten it as well. That's always really, really good too. What else? I think the higher up the chest, you'll find it's got like a nice support to it. And I think they're kind of like your main points, but it should fit you. It shouldn't be too, like, I know you think you want it tight, but you don't. All right? Not that tight that you can't breathe and you can't pull it out and you can't lift it up. That's not going to benefit you in performance-wise.
Are there any particular bras that you personally love that have become your favourites when it comes to high-impact bras?
Yes, but I probably can only talk about some on here. So I'll talk about the some with you. For my size, like, I do go with the Nike swoosh, which I've always had. I really, really love it. They have a higher support bra now. And I used to think, it was like really ugly. Like, I remember seeing them and I was like, oh, who wants to wear that? Like, it was just so unsexy. It looked like a bra, right? And I think they've done a really good job in bringing a bit more performance aspect to those higher support bras and highlighting the fact that it's not just for big boobs. This is for high performance. So I'm going to go with the high performance. There's an Aeroswift that was made and that was just probably the greatest bra. It was like black and white. It's still really hard to get. But they're probably the two that I go with. Yeah.
I mean, I have small boobs and I love the swoosh bra as well.
Yeah.
So from both sides.
You shouldn't think about a bra.
Yeah.
Right? You shouldn't think that you need to hug yourself. You shouldn't think that you need to lift it up. You shouldn't think that you need to pull it down. That's how I can normally determine if I've got something good on. It's like if somebody asks me, if Nike asks me, what'd you think of the shoe? And I was like, oh, I didn't think about it. Okay, so it must be good.
Yeah.
If you're thinking about what you're wearing, then, maybe that's something you want to have a question about.
What changes would you like to see in the next 5 years to better support women in sport?
I want people to stop being scared and focusing on marketing. I want them to actually stop saying they're listening to the athlete and actually listen to the athlete. Because I feel that many brands say, we listen to her, we listen to the athlete. I know you listen to her, but you don't do anything about it because you end up doing the same thing again and again and again and again, which is very male-driven, very male-based training. And I understand that we don't have a lot of data and we don't have a lot of research. We've got 8%, and that is incredible. So let's use every single bit of it. And I want people to start speaking to the forgotten athlete, who is the woman over 40, because she is freaking brilliant. She is driven. She knows what she wants. She's clear again. She's ready to show up for herself. She's fierce, but she's the forgotten athlete. There is no research. And she's standing there with her arms wide open and no one looks at her. So I want to see more of that.
If you had one piece of advice for your younger self, what would it be?
One. You're going to be okay.
I love it.
You're going to be okay.
Thank you so much. You have been fantastic.
Thank you. Glad you got me only in that last question then.
We love a tear.
Oh,
we
wow.
love a tear.